pioneer women. Does nature play some undefinable part in the makeup of a woman to make her go with the mate she has chosen wherever he chooses to go? Is it the mothering instinct in her to take care of him as she would her child? Is there an inbred jealousy that she fears another woman may try to take him from her if she leaves him alone to fend for himself? Is it the sacredness of her marriage ceremony? Love, honor, sickness, and in health, for richer or poorer, I pledge thee my troth. Was it true love so strong the thought of separation was unbearable? If you asked the women themselves, they would answer, "He is my husband. Where he goes, I go." In some cases, I find that statement true with some women today, but certainly not all of them. Today, there are too many other factors to be considered. Having lived among those pioneer women and aware, having lived it myself, of the hardships that they had to go through and endured without breaking, I can only believe it must have been the combination of all these questions with an emphatic, "It is true." If not, why then did they leave their many close friends, their parents, and good homes, knowing there was little chance they would ever return, even for a visit, traveling hundreds of miles to an unknown, wild land? Then, making their new home in a sod house, a shell made of shiplap or a tar paper shack, live off the land, often with little money, sometimes hungry and cold, millions of insects, where sickness depended on home remedies and the generosity of neighbors. Not much to look forward to. Yet they came, leaving much behind. They took things as they came and made the best of it. They learned to do with or without. Long hours, tired bodies, and rough hands, but they did not complain. They raised their families in surroundings of love, and in a manner sometimes pretty harsh, which produced a family of love and respect for each other and those who came in contact with them. One of the things they brought with them was determination. They had plenty of that. In this new land, they were determined to keep up, as much as possible, the social etiquette they had been used to in the homes they left behind. No matter what the house was made of, somewhere in it was a box or maybe a trunk containing keepsakes or valued things, and a box of calling cards with her name engraved on it. This was a must when she went to call on her neighbors, or for an at-home affair. And maybe in that same box or trunk was a special nice dress, carefully folded away to be used for a special occasion. During the summer months, even with all the hardships and inconveniences, each lady would set aside a day when she would be at home to the ladies in the community. The snow was gone, and signs of spring were showing everywhere. Crocus, mayflowers we called them. Flowers were creeping through, and the changing color of the landscape. The conditioning effect of the new green grass showed wherever the cattle stopped to relieve themselves, especially in the cow barn. The manure fork was useless. We had to use a shovel to move the wet, brownish green manure to the pile outside the barn. To call it messy would be an understatement. A note on the door of the post office in our yard notified all the ladies in the area that Mother was holding the first at home of the season. Ms. Thompson, in her middle 20s, petite and pretty. Her manners denoted a generous background. She had a good education and musical background. She was looking forward to spending an enjoyable afternoon with the other ladies at this at home. She dressed in her lovely long-sleeved white blouse and a light blue heel length skirt, which after adding a trailing red belt showed off her trim figure. With her wide brimmed white hat trimmed with feathers, she was pleased with what her mirror revealed. She was late in arriving at the tea, explaining she had had trouble corralling her two rangy, long-legged oxen, which, hitched to a stone boat, was her only means of transportation. She was proud of her ox team, boasting they could out-trot any team of horses around the district. After depositing her calling card along with the others in the large crystal glass bowl Mother had placed in the center of the table, she sat down with the other ladies. The spring day was hotter than usual. This, with the large group of women inside, made the house uncomfortable. Mother had them move outside into the cool shade of the building. All the women looked forward to these at-home events. It gave them a chance to meet new settlers, swap yarns, and generally gossip to their heart's content. It was a welcome relief, too, from the busy, lonely surroundings of their own home. Being a good conversationalist, Ms. Thompson made good use of the gatherings to visit and add her share of the gossip. Tea served, the time went fast. Ms. Thompson was the first to leave, excusing herself and explaining she had to get home to prepare her husband's supper on time, as he got cross if his meals were late. She placed the kitchen chair, which was her seat, exactly in the middle of the stone boat. Then, dusting it off, she seated herself on the chair, picked up the reins, and was ready to go. Picking up the long pole, with a sharp nail in the end of it, she prodded the oxen to their feet and headed them toward home. Unluckily, she chose the wrong time of day for her journey home. The hottest part of the day was heel fly time. She had gone a short distance when the head flies made their attack. How some of the oxen knew that the shade in the bushes about 100 yards away, across the newly planted garden, was their only salvation from the stinging bites from the head flies, and nothing would stop them from getting there. She lost her seat when they swung off the road. She stood up, and with her feet braced wide apart, she pulled as hard as she could, trying to stop or turn her back on the road. It was useless. But she hung on. They ran their heads down and their tails high over their backs. With every jump, more and more of that mossy green grass stored in their stomach came away and landed on Ms. Thompson and the stone boat. It was a comical sight to watch. She paid me no attention, determined to control her team. She might have made it to the bushes, but for the runners struck a boulder. Up went the stone boat, and Ms. Thompson took a flying leap in the air and landed on her face in the dirt. The other women stood petrified, watching the comedy unfold before their eyes until Ms. Thompson stood up. They knew she was not seriously hurt. They could hold back their laughter no longer. The sight of her face and clothes was just too much. The laughter continued until a slight lull allowed them to hear her cussing that ox team. They put their hands over their ears to drown out the cuss word she was using, which would have put a mule skinner from Arkansas to shame.